Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. Short show today, college basketball, NBA, and NHL. We'll recap last night's games, look ahead to tonight's games in each sport. We'll go over the news and notes, the Masked Singer finales tonight, so we'll make our pick and my best bet of the day. We're going to start with college basketball, as we've been doing every day, recapping the games from last night, and we look ahead to tonight's games. Louisville over Southeast Louisiana, 86-60. Stony Brook over Central Connecticut, 87-67. Number 18, Tennessee over SC Upstate, 96-52. Number 19, LSU over Northwestern State, 89-49. Troy over Alabama A&M, 66-57. St. Francis Brooklyn over Medgar Evers, 113-51. NCAT over East Tennessee State, 69-67. Longwood over Carolina University, 98-56. St. Francis PA over Hartford, 81-66. Towson over UNC Greensboro, 74-64. South Florida over Austin Peay, 60-51. South Carolina over Allen University, 110-51. Cincinnati over Florida A&M, 77-50. Wake over VMI, 77-70. UNC over Furman, 74-61. Clemson over Miami of Ohio, 89-76. Monmouth over Yale, 69-60. Louisiana Tech over LSU Shreveport, 87-70. UL Monroe over Stephen F. Austin, 82-69. UAB over Grambling, 79-61. Number 2, Duke over SC State, 103-62. Number 14, Houston over Louisiana, 71-56. Number 25, Texas Tech over Arkansas State, 75-62. Illinois State over Quincy, 81-63. South Alabama over Tarleton, 69-62. Western Kentucky over Center College, 90-52. Tennessee Martin over UNC Asheville, 79-68. Northern Iowa over Jackson State, 66-56. DePaul over UIC, 72-66. Arizona State over Creighton, 58-57. Wichita State over Alcorn State, 82-63. Mississippi State over Georgia State, 79-50. St. Thomas, Minnesota over Northland, 109-50. Minnesota over Texas A&M Corpus Christi, 79-71. North Texas over Sam Houston, 65-55. Drexel over Coppin State, 76-69. Jacksonville over Southern Miss, 62-51. North Dakota over North Central University, 110-65. Texas Southern over Texas Rio Grande, 70-60. Memphis upsets number 6 Alabama, 92-78. Number 13 Auburn over North Alabama, 70-44. Number 17 Texas over Arkansas Pine Bluff, 63-31. Boise State over Santa Clara, 72-60. St. Mary's over Stanislaus State, 76-39. UC Davis upsets Oregon State, 71-64. And Pacific over UC Santa Barbara, 80-71 in overtime. Plain Texas A&M canceled. Little Rock Central Arkansas postponed. All right, now we look ahead to tonight's window. 6 o'clock, you have Chattanooga and Belmont. My projection for this game is Belmont by 2. I didn't do totals because I didn't have time. And the line is 5.5 and 141. I'm going to take Chattanooga and the points. Howard and Georgetown. Projection, Georgetown 18.5. This game's 6:30 on Fox Sports 1. And the line is 11 and 156.5. I'll lay with Georgetown. 7 o'clock, Midway, Eastern Kentucky, Carver College Presbyterian. Methodist, Coastal Carolina. We can skip all those. AAC play begins tonight on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock. UCF Temple. My projection is UCF by 2.25. And it is 4.5 and 135.5. I'll take Temple plus the 4.5. And I give them a shot to win outright. NC Central and Gardner-Webb. My projection is Webb by 6.75. And oh, wait a minute. Is this game at NC Central instead of at Gardner-Webb? Oh my God, did I really get that wrong in terms of where the game's being played? It's NC Central at Gardner-Webb. But FanDuel has it Gardner-Webb at NC Central. Let me make sure, let's see where DraftKings has it. But they put the wrong team as the home team. It says NC Central's home here, too. So if NC Central were to be home, then this would be Gardner-Webb by 3/4. Gardner-Webb has the home team, projected 6 3/4. So I guess it is the other way around, but if it is, then I have to change my projection to 3/4. So if that's the case, I'm taking NC Central plus the points if they're home, and I give them a shot to win outright plus 265. So I must have just got that one wrong. Or ESPN might have been wrong for once, which is wild. Marshall, Ohio. My projection is Ohio by 3 3/4. And this line is 3.5 and 152.5. I'll take the over. Georgia Southern, Campbell. My projection is Campbell by 20. It's 5.5 and 122.5. I'll lay the points with Campbell. Mount Olive, UNC Wilmington, we can skip. Winthrop and Elon. My projection for this game is Winthrop 9.5. And it's 4.5 and 151.5. I'll lay with Winthrop. FAU and VCU. My projection for this game is VCU by 11. And it's 10.5 and 130.5. I'll take the over. South Dakota State and Missouri State. My projection is South Dakota State by 5 1/4. And it is Missouri State 3.5, total 158.5. I'm taking South Dakota State plus the 3.5 and plus 132 to win on the money line. FIU and Jacksonville State. My projection is Jacksonville State by 5 1/4. And it's 6.5 and 134.5. I'll take the over. Fairfield and Fairleigh Dickinson. My projection is Fairfield by 12. And it is 9.5 and 138.5. I'll lay the points with Fairfield. Akron, Wright State. My projection is Wright State by 1/2. And it's Wright State 3.5, total 145.5. I'll take Akron plus the 3.5. I give them a shot to win outright. Johnson, Florida, Bethune-Cookman. You can skip. 7:30. You have Middle Tennessee and Ole Miss. My projection is Ole Miss by 13 1/4. And it is 11 and 134.5. I'll lay the 11 with Ole Miss. 8 o'clock, Tennessee, Wesleyan, Murray State, we can skip. Southeast Missouri State and Southern Illinois, my projection is Southeast Missouri by 3/4. And it is Southern Illinois by 12.5, totals 133.5. Oh my God, I love Southeast Missouri State plus the 12.5. And I'm going to take them over 6-1, plus 610 to win their game outright. Nichols and Wisconsin. My projection is Wisconsin by 11 1/4, and it's 19 and 135.5. I'll take Nichols in the points to keep it competitive. Lamar and Texas State. My projection for this game is Texas State by 21 1/4, and it's 13.5 and 130.5. I'll lay the points with Texas State. Bellarmine and South Dakota. My projection is South Dakota by 4 1/4, and it's 1.5 and 137.5. I'll lay the 1.5 with South Dakota. Morehead State and Xavier at 8:30 on Fox Sports 1. My projection is Xavier by 14 1/4, and it's 15 and 135.5. I'll take the over. Cal State, Bakersfield, and Abilene Christian. My projection is Christian by 6 1/4. And it's 9.5 and 127.5. I'll take Bakersfield in the points. All right, 9 o'clock, Pac-12 Network. Northern Colorado at number 8, Arizona. My projection is Zona by 19 1/4. And it's 25.5 and 153.5. I'll take Northern Colorado in the points. UC Irvine at number 10, USC. My projection is SC by 15.5, and it's 12 and 126.5. I'll lay it with USC. Utah State, Weber State. My projection is Weber by 9 1/4. And it's Utah State by 2.5, total 142.5. I'll take Weber State plus the points and plus 125 on the money line. Multnomah, Eastern Washington, we skip. And same for Saguay Dixie State. Portland, Oregon. My projection is Oregon by 20. And it's 17.5 and 140.5. I'll lay with Oregon. Lipscomb and Florida State on the ACC Network. My projection is Florida State by 16.25. And it's 19.5 and 142.5. I'll take Lipscomb in the points. UC San Diego and Denver. My projection is Denver by 2. And it's San Diego by 4.5 total, 130.5. I'll take Denver plus the 4.5 and plus 152 to win the game outright. 10 o'clock, Minnesota, Duluth, and Nevada we can skip. New Mexico State and Washington State. My projection for this game is Washington State by 2.25. And it's 8 and 137.5. I'll take New Mexico State plus the 8, and I give them a chance to win outright. They're plus 290. Omaha and UNLV. My projection is UNLV by 9.5. And it is 18.5 and 139.5. I take Omaha plus the points. And last but not least, Alabama State and UCLA at 11 o'clock on the Pac-12 Network. The number 4 team in the country. I have projected as a whopping 41.75 favorite. That's like Gonzaga level. And it's 34.5 and 146.5. I'm laying it. I'm going to lay it with UCLA in that one. All right, now we'll move on to the NBA. We will recap last night's games and look ahead to a busy window for tonight. Nets over the Raptors, 131-129 in overtime. Great game in the Barclays Center. Brooklyn's 20-8, Toronto's 13-15. Kevin Durant, 34 points, 13 boards, 11 assists. He was easily the best player on the court. Last night, Fred VanVleet had 31 for the Raptors with 9 dishes. Warriors over the Knicks, 105-96. In what was an entertaining game where Stephen Curry broke the all-time record for three-pointers made, breaking Ray Allen's record. It's only fitting he does it at the Garden, right? 23-5. Knicks are 12-16. Julius Randle at 31-7 to keep the Knicks in that game. Steph Curry, 22 points for Golden State, including the record-breaking 3, which happened very early in the game. Suns over the Trailblazers, 111-107 in overtime. It took overtime for best bet to come through. Best bet was either going to be the Suns or Golden State, but I just felt better about the Suns only because C.J. McCollum was out for Portland. So that's the only reason why I felt better about laying points with Phoenix than laying points with Golden State. And plus the line was shorter, and they both barely covered. Phoenix 22-5, Portland 11-17. Damian Lillard 31 points and 10 assists. DeAndre Ayton 28 points, 13 boards. So he came back for the Suns in this game. So that's good. Alrighty. Now we'll look ahead to tonight's games. Busy window. 7 o'clock, Rockets Cavaliers. My projection for this game, I just have to make a couple adjustments here. So Cavs looks like 14.5. Total 213.7. And it is 9 and 216. I'm going to lay the points with the Cavaliers. But yeah, my bad. 16.5 for the Cavs, and I'll still lay it. Next up is the Hawks and the Magic. My projection is the Hawks by 14, total 217.05. Meanwhile, it's 8 and 223. I'll take the Hawks. Oh, 9. It went up to 9. So it just went up to 9. I'll still lay with the Hawks, but podcast play will be the under. Hawks and under is a good, same gamer. All right, next up is the Heat and the 76ers. My projection, this game would have been a good game if everybody was healthy. But my projection is 7.25, total 211.9. Meanwhile, it is 5.5 and 205.5. If that line goes down, I'll think about the Sixers, but I still have a less than 2-point edge on them. So I'm going to go with the total instead. I'll go with the over. Maybe Joel Embiid crashes that by himself. 7:30 on ESPN, Lakers Mavericks. This isn't as good as a game because of the injuries too. Luka Doncic hurt. My projection is Lakers 5.75, total 215.85. Meanwhile, it's Lakers 1, total 214. I think it's that low because we don't know LeBron and AD statuses. So I'm still going to lay the 1 with the Lakers. Next up, the Pacers and the Bucks at 8 o'clock. My projection is Bucks by 5.25, total 215.6. Meanwhile, it's Indiana by 1.5, total 218. Oh my God. Oh, did I forget to include Chris Middleton in the injury thing? Because Indiana's favored at Milwaukee. And let's see here. I forgot to count for Chris Middleton's injury. I bet you I did. Let's see. It says questionable. So, and he's worth 4 points. And I'd still have the Bucks projected as a favorite. I think Indiana's the most overrated team in the market right now in terms of betting. I think the two most overrated teams in terms of betting are the Pacers and in the NHL, Dallas Stars. Like, they're both bad teams, like, record-wise, and they're getting, like, favoritism in the market. But I'm taking the Bucks plus 1.5 and plus 102 straight up. The Bucks are going to win with without their guys. I think Middleton, there's a chance he plays. Pelicans Thunder, my projection is OKC by 4.75, so 210.75 or 210.15. Well, it's Pelicans 3.5, total 211.5. Okay, wrong team's favor. I'm taking the Thunder plus the points and plus 132 to win outright. Next up, the Hornets and the Spurs at 8:30. My projection is San Antonio by 2.5, total or 2.75, total 214.35. You know, it's 3.5 and 228. I'll take the under. No LaMelo Ball. Timberwolves Nuggets. My projection is Denver by 5.75, total 214.45. 9 o'clock game. Meanwhile, it's 4 and 220. Under. Clippers Jazz. 10 o'clock ESPN. That's a really good game. My projection is Jazz by 9.5, total 215. Meanwhile, it's 9 and 216.5. Oh, my numbers are so dead on. Slight under. Grizzlies Trailblazers, my projection is Memphis 1, total 219.8. Meanwhile, it's Memphis 2, total 219.5. Very close again here. Slight edge Blazers, plus the 2. I'll consider them outright, plus 108. I think the Blazers do win that game, even without McCollum. Because I think it could be Dame by himself. And the Wizards and the Kings, my projection is the Wizards by 1, the quarter, total 219.35. Meanwhile, it's Wizards 1, total 225. Under. And I wish the Wizards were a bigger favorite also to made a case for the Kings to potentially win the game outright. All right, now we'll look back on last night's NHL games, and we'll look ahead to tonight's small window. So the results from last night. Golden Knights over the Bruins 4-1. Vegas 17-11-0. Boston 14-9-2. Max Pacioretty 2 goals and assists. Number 1 started game. Number 2 started 3 assists. Chandler Stevenson number 3 started game with a goal. Shea Theodore. Lightning over the Kings 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Matthew Joseph. Tampa 18-6-4. LA 12-10-5. Number 3 started game with 27 saves on 29 shots. Jonathan Quick number 2 started game with a goal. Taylor Radish and the number 1 started game with the overtime winner Matthew Joseph. Senators over the Panthers, 8-2. Ottawa, 9-16-1. Florida, 18-6-4. Number 3 started game with a goal and assist. Nick Paul, number 2 started game with 2 goals and assists. Josh Norris, number 3 started game with a goal and 3 assists. Drake Batherson, Flyers over the Devils 6-1. The Flyers 11-12-4. New Jersey 10-12-5. The Flyers playing better under Mike Yeo. Number 3 started game with the goal and assist, Oscar Lindblom. Number 2 started game with the goal and assist, Travis Sanheim. Number 1 started game with a hat trick and an assist, Cam Atkinson. Penguins over the Canadiens 5-2. Pittsburgh 15-8-5. Montreal 6-21-3. Number 3 started game with the goal, Brian Dumoulin. Number 2 started game with 2 assists, Sidney Crosby. Number 1 started the game with the goal and 2 assists, Evan Rodriguez. Red Wings over the Islanders 2-1. The Red Wings 14-12-3. Islanders 7-12-5. Number 3 started game with the goal, Anders Lee. Number 2 started game with 33 saves on 34 shots, Alex Nedeljkovic. Number 1 started game with the goal, Dylan Larkin. Sabres over the Jets 4-2. Buffalo 9-15-4. Winnipeg 13-10-5. Number 3 started game with the goal and assist, Briere Luc Dubois. Number 2 started game with 34 saves on 36 shots, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And the number 1 started game with 2 goals, Rasmus Dahlin. Blues over the Stars 4-1. The Blues 16-8-5. Dallas 13-11-2. Number 3 started game with the goal, Justin Falk. Number 2 started game with the goal, a player by the name of, for Dallas, Damiani. And the number 1 started game with 33 saves on 34 shots, Charlie Lindgren. That makes sense why Dallas was such a big favorite, because they knew that the Blues were going with the backup goalie. Avalanche over the Rangers 4-2. Avs 17-7-2. They're playing a lot better. Rangers 18-7-3. Number 3 started game with 3 assists, Nazem Kadri. Number 2 started game with 2 assists, Nathan MacKinnon. Number 2 started game with 2 goals, Valeri Nichushkin. Maple Leafs over the Oilers 5-1. Toronto 28-2. Edmonton 16-11-0. Number 3 started game with a goal and assist, Mike Riley. Number 2 started game with 2 goals, Austin Matthews. Number 1 started game with 35 saves on 36 shots, Jack Campbell. Canucks over the Blue Jackets 4-3 as they come back from 3-0 down to win. Vancouver 13-5-2. 5-0-0 under Bruce Boudreau, and Columbus is 14-12-1. Number 3 started game with 3 assists, Quinn Hughes. Number 2 started game with 2 goals, Eric Robinson. And number 1 started game with 2 goals, Bo Horvat. Kraken over the Sharks 3-1. The Kraken 10-15-3. San Jose 15-13-1. Number 3 started game with the goal, Ryan Donato. Number 2 started game with the goal, Logan Couture. Number 1 started game with 33 saves on 34 shots, Chris Drieger. Flames, Preds, and Hurricanes both postponed due to Calgary's and Carolina's COVID issues, respectively. Now we look ahead to tonight. 3 games, 8 o'clock. You have the Capitals and the Blackhawks. This was a matchup a couple weeks ago where the Blackhawks actually won the game outright in D.C. Washington's minus 156. Chicago's plus 130. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 120. Unders minus 102. Caps minus 1.5 is plus 160. Blackhawks plus 1.5 is minus 205. I'm going to go with the Capitals in regulation at even money. 9 o'clock, Rangers, Coyotes. Rangers minus 230, Coyotes plus 188, over under 5.5, overs minus 114, unders minus 106. Rangers minus 1.5 is plus 110, Coyotes plus 1.5 is minus 138. Rangers puck line minus 1.5 is plus 110. And then last but not least, 10 o'clock on TNT, the Kraken and the Ducks. Not a terrible game. Before the season, a lot of people would have rolled their eyes at that, but that's not a bad game anywhere. The Ducks are pretty good, and the Kraken are playing better. The Ducks are minus 162. The Kraken are plus 134. Over under 5.5. Overs minus 115. Unders minus 105. Kraken plus 1.5 is minus 194. Ducks minus 1.5 is plus 154. I'm going to go over 5.5 and minus 115. I think that it'll be Grubauer in net tonight. And he's been leaky. And I know it's probably going to be John Gibson, and he's really good. But the Kraken, I like that they have some momentum. So I like over 5.5 at minus 115. All right, now we'll do news and notes, and we have breaking news coming down from Adam Schefter. Baker Mayfield tests positive for COVID-19. That's just unbelievable. They have an outbreak. I won't be shocked if Saturday's game's postponed to like Tuesday or something. So here we go. Here's the list. Baker Mayfield, Wyatt Teller, Jedrick Wills, Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, Kareem Hunt. But if Baker produces 2 negative test results between Saturday, then he'll play. So it's not a lock that he's out yet. But the good news is that Baker was feeling completely normal. That is great news, though. And Case Keenum's not the worst backup in the world. Like, that guy won a big playoff game, but that was courtesy of a miracle throw and a miracle catch. But still, he won a playoff game against a good Saints team. So he's not the worst backup quarterback in the world. And Case Keenum could have success with the right players around him, as we saw with him in Minnesota. And I can see the same situation here in Cleveland. But he doesn't have the upside that Baker has. And that's the problem. So we'll see how that plays out. But that's just breaking news coming down from Adam Schefter right now. So an update on the Henry Ruggs situation is that the coroner says that the woman who died in the car crash involving Henry Ruggs burned to death, which is really sad. We talked about this earlier. Stephen Curry broke the NBA three-point record for most three-pointers in NBA history. I think it's only fitting that he did it at MSG. It's the best arena in the world. And it was on national TV on a TNT game. If I'm not mistaken, Ray Allen's, when he broke the record, was a TNT game as well. So that's kind of ironic. That's really cool to see Steph break the record. And he's getting all the love, and rightfully so. And Stephen Curry, after the game, embraced Julius Randle and his son Kyron after the big night. So that's really neat sportsmanship by Randle. But everybody loves Stephen Curry. I mean, how can you not love Stephen Curry? He's the most fun player in the league by a mile. And I'll never forget Stephen Curry's big breakout game was at Madison Square Garden against the Knicks in the 12-13 season. But the Knicks wound up winning that game. And it was a great game. It was an ESPN Wednesday night game. I'll never forget it. And that's why it's only fitting that Curry broke the record at the Garden. He's had so many big moments there. Not just as a member of the Golden State Warriors, but when he was playing in college with Davidson. And Spike Lee was taking pictures with Stephen Curry, which was awesome to see. So many pictures. Everybody's giving him the praise that he deserves. And Reggie Miller and Ray Allen had a gift for Steph after the big win, which was really cool. So Washington football team owner Dan Snyder tried to block interview with ex-employee who accused him of sexual misconduct. So we'll see how much more of this comes out, because this is a bad situation. I think Snyder is easily the worst owner in the league. It's not even close. And he's awful. He's worse than James Dolan. If you ask me, if you talk about the worst owners in sports, I think by far the worst owner in sports is probably Dan Snyder. Although Robert Sarver out in Phoenix is pretty bad too. Although his team having success is overshadowing that. And I think that the football team with some mild success kind of overshadowed the black cloud that is Dan Snyder. We'll see if more of this comes out. I think a lot of stuff will come out of this. All right, now we'll preview the Masked Singer finale for tonight. It's going to be a really, really fun and entertaining show. The best top two in the history of the show, in my opinion, with Bull and Queen of Hearts. I think they're both fabulous. I think it's anybody's ball game. I think that these are two really big stars. I think that Bull is really entertaining. He has the razzle dazzle that the panelists and the audience love to see. And Queen of Hearts is arguably the best vocalist they've ever had on the show. I mean, she's right there with the son, Leanne Rimes, for that honor, in my opinion. Although Lion, Rumor Willis, was phenomenal too. Who would have thought that was Rumor Willis in season 1? I don't think anybody would have. Alright, so the contestant that I think will win tonight is the Queen of Hearts. I think she's been the best one all year. I think that she'll save her best for tonight. I think she'll have a little bit of razzle-dazzle in her performance tonight to convince the audience that she deserves the crown. And my podcast final pick pre-show, I'm going to go with Fergie. I don't feel good about it because I think it could be Kristen Chenoweth. I do hear a little bit of Lady Gaga in her voice. I think some of the clues add up to her. Some similar vocals. Her body shape. It's a big name. And I think that it'd be cool to get a Black Eyed Pea on the show. And don't forget, will.i.am was a guest judge on the show earlier in the season. So I'm going to go with Fergie, although I wouldn't rule out Kristen Chenoweth. And I honestly wouldn't rule out Lady Gaga or Christina Aguilera or Jewel for this. And Bull, who I think will be the runner-up. He'll be the best runner-up in the history of the show. I think he's better than Rottweiler because of the razzle-dazzle. And I think that he has more potential. And I love Daughtry, too. So my final pick for Bull is going to be John Legend in terms of pre-show picks. I hear a little reminiscent of John Legend. I think that'd be a good get for the show. He can pull off anything. I think there's a chance this is Joe Jonas. I think there's a chance that this is Donald Glover. I think that this could potentially be like an Usher or a Neo. But it's a long shot, though. But my final guess is pre-show, Queen of Hearts Fergie, and Bull John Legend. And I'm going to say that Queen of Hearts barely wins. And I mean barely. Alrighty. Best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There's a couple that I like. And where I'm going to go for this game, or for today's best bet. Yesterday's was the winner with the Suns and the Blazers. We'll go back to FanDuel for best bet. DraftKings had it yesterday. So the Mavericks just moved to a 1-point favorite against the Lakers, by the way. So let's go to college basketball. And I am going to take a team that I haven't taken yet this year. It's a lower tier game. I just think that this team is better than its opponent. That's Campbell minus the 6.5 against Georgia Southern. It was at 5.5 earlier, but it went up a point. I'm going to lay 2 units on it. That's how good I feel about it. I'm going to lay the 6.5 with Campbell against Georgia Southern. So that's it for the show today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the Masked Singer finale. and everything going on tomorrow. I hope you guys have a great day, everyone.